to the track, the wall, makes the leap, and makes the catch! Amazing catch by Junior!
He got it! A perfect game! 13 strikeouts!
Special moment for Barry Bonds.
Swinging a long drive, deep to right, going, goodbye! He has done it! He has changed the game of the night with one swing of his bat!
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the greatest baseball podcast in the history of the world. Champions Adjust. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you watched the previous 4 episodes. We're getting better each week. I'm proud to be joined by my co-host,
David Bodson.
Big David Bodson.
There you go.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
And Sandra Bryan. Hey, fellas. How are we?
See you.
It's Wednesday. How's the beginning of your week going?
It's going.
Great, yeah, we're halfway there. Actually, exactly halfway there.
Hump
It's like
day.
noon.
Yeah, it's about noon on
There should be-
Wednesday, May 19th.
We should pitch like a commercial where like a camel is walking around yelling hump day because it's Wednesday. Thoughts on that?
So your week's going pretty good, Sandra.
Man, you guys are good for my self-esteem.
I love you so much. Cool. So, yeah. But so before we get into Hall of Fame or not, because that's our first segment on the show, we made a bet
Yes, we did.
last episode.
Yep.
On episode 4 about, you said there was already 2 no-hitters by the time the episode dropped, right?
I thought it would
In May.
stay under 2.
In May.
Yep.
And you said it was going to stay at 2. I said it was going to be more than that.
Yep.
And we bet a big $1 bill on it.
Yeah.
And so last night, May 18th, what happened?
Turnbull threw a no-hitter for his 8th career win. Is that accurate?
What's his numbers?
Ninth. He was like
9th career win?
He was 8-25 before last night.
So now he's 9-25. I don't have any money on me though.
You have $1. I just gave it to you before the show so we could do this interaction.
Here's $1.
Let's go!
Let's talk about that though for a second because
sure.
the record for no-hitters in a season is 8, and that happened in 1884.
Woo!
The record in the modern day era is 7, which has happened 3 times, and we are at 5 midway through May.
5 asterisk, so 6.
So it was 5/6.
Yeah.
2 against the Indians, 2 against the Mariners.
Wow.
It's very impressive to see, because then you can't talk about the ball being dead because we're seeing home runs hit at 400 to 500
There's
feet.
also Otani hitting
The
tanks.
shift.
Right.
The shift.
The shift.
That's what it is, man. It's a shift.
I love the shift.
I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm saying
Shift's not new.
it's new in the last 5-6 years. Like
You're talking about a third baseman to playing in right field?
Yeah.
What do you mean the shift?
Every
Like,
team using it for
talk about that a little bit deeper.
So the sabermetrics tell you where a hitter is 95% likely.
Don't talk to me. I already know.
To throw. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm talking to you guys. Sabermetrics. So what managers have been doing for years, and it's becoming more and more popular, especially since the Moneyball era really popped, is defensive alignment shifts, which would essentially say if you're a pull hitter from the left side, you're going to bring your third baseman towards second base to give you 4
You guys keep going.
right fielders. But the opposite side of that on the shift, and you see it all the time. What was it? The triple the shortstop on the shift, right? Like you can do that, bunting down the third base line to get a hit. So I don't necessarily buy into the fact that we're getting 5 no-hitters because of the shift. I think, those pitchers were on. If you watch the game, you see his slider was unreal, and he had complete command over his slider, which I did not anticipate out of him. It was just one of his days where he had it.
Yeah, no, he's good stuff. He had good stuff last night for sure. I stayed up and watched it, but Yeah, I mean, I still think it contributes to the uptick.
I would like to see stats. We can look into this. How much more often the shift is being used in the first 6 weeks of the season versus the last 2 years? Because I'm curious if we're going to see the metrics being higher versus are they? I mean, the shift isn't new to baseball. Are they just now deciding to use it? Because I don't see them just now starting to use it. I think you look at Matt Carpenter and Joey Gallo the last 3 years. That's how they got on base a bunch, is by trying to beat the shift.
Yep.
That's just my thought.
Yeah. Do you think when it comes to no hitters that it always seems to be kind of like a random pitcher who just has like an amazing day, rather than someone who's like been consistently good for a long time or is consistently good over the last couple seasons, because they're always going like 6, 7, 8, 9 innings and having good outings, like DeGrom. You don't see him throwing no hitters all the time, right? But you see these like random. I don't want to say random because they're still major league pitchers, right? So they're the best of the best, but it just seems like that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. Like, as Turnbull was throwing his no-hitter, I was like, I think this just goes to show that 1 through 5 in every rotation has like dudes that are capable of getting every hitter out in the big leagues. So yeah, and while they may seem random to us, I mean, they were maybe at one point like top prospects or whatever. So like every single guy in the league is an absolute dude. I think that's what it tells me. But it certainly does seem like the randoms pop up every once in a while.
Yeah,
and random's not the right word, like you said.
Well,
names that not household names. Like Mean throwing a no hitter a couple weeks ago. Like I haven't heard that guy's name in 5 years.
Right,
and there's no hitter.
Yeah, but you're totally right. Like every guy that we see playing in Major League Baseball at one point was the best from where they came from.
Yep.
Yeah. Same thing goes for a lot of guys who will randomly have a 3 home run game.
Right.
That it's like, who's that guy? He just hit 3 home runs in a Major League Baseball game. That's insane.
Okay, we're back. Coach Bodson over here got a really important text that he had to handle. And so
It's been handled.
It's been handled.
We're all better for it.
And we're better for it. And we're moving on with episode 5. I don't exactly remember what
we're talking about. How everybody's
a
dude, and at any given day, anybody can perform at the major league level.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter who you are.
Perfect. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll go into our most
I do have one more question about that, and this is just an opinion question from you guys.
I paused.
When we look at the guys who are throwing no hitters right now versus the guys who aren't, we're not naming the best pitchers in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Is it at all possible that the hitters are scouting out the DeGroms considerably more than they are the Turnbulls, and they're just showing up to Turnbull? Not showing up, they're not really looking at the scouting as much. They're not really studying it as much because they don't think they're going to have to apply that much energy or effort, and then they end up getting no-no'd by a guy who just happens to have his slider and spotting it consistently.
Yeah, I can't say with any confidence, but I would venture to guess. Yeah, I mean, if you're going into a series against the Mets, are you looking at their 5 guy who's starting on Tuesday, or are you looking at DeGrom who's starting on Wednesday?
Yeah,
I'm just preparing for that pitcher. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I've never thought about that.
I just came to my mind. I was like, you think about it, because we do that same stuff. Like, hey, I can put all my energy into this, even though it's probably going to go pretty well. Whereas tomorrow's going to be way tougher. Should I maybe take some of that energy and put it toward tomorrow?
Yeah.
And that just goes into anything in life. And then you end up getting, shocked by a guy who walks 2 guys across 117 pitches. So, anyway, sorry, you may continue. I just wanted to throw out that question.
Interesting point. I mean, clearly when guys are facing the best pitchers in the game who consistently bring, A+ stuff, they're obviously preparing for that a little bit more than they would a guy who's a number 5 starter. But like Sanders said, even the number 5 starter has the ability to have A+ stuff. He just hasn't found it yet on a consistent level. But he has shown that level of dominance at some point in his career. But I'm not going to say that guys think they're taking the night off when they're facing that guy, because Major League players can't do that.
Sure.
But it is a 162 game season, and you're not
Yes.
going to have everything that you have
Right.
every single game. It's impossible.
And there's
as a
show
hitter.
and goes in baseball.
There
and
is,
there's,
and
you know,
maybe that you had a night game, you got home at 1 in, now you have to be back at the park at. I don't know the
first show and
situation
go,
from
and you
last
just
night.
go take some BP and go.
Yeah,
you don't
I'm
have
just
time to.
I'm just kind of spitballing,
do it, yeah.
but I think all those factors go into play.
Right.
And then guys who throw no hitters obviously have the best stuff, and then there's other things that go into play. Maybe a few
good
really
stuff.
good plays in the field. Umpire gave you a few calls here. Right. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but I think both of what you guys are saying, plays into it for
I
sure.
just found that interesting that the last out was Henry, who is batting 263 for the Mariners, who's their best hitter.
You got
That
the last
says a
out.
lot. It says a lot about. Well, yeah, he had no 0-2 slider, but it said a lot about the lineup that their best hitter is hitting a little bit over 260 for them, and they're getting no hit for the second time in like 8 days.
Right.
That if you're, those are the teams you kind of want to go up against when you have your best stuff. Is hey, I have my best stuff, and your best hitter isn't that good right now.
Right. I mean, and Garrett Cole gave up 5 runs against the Texas Rangers, right? So there's
It
always
was essentially a AAA team.
baseball is just up in the air, right? Anything
Right.
can happen at any moment. That's why it
Absolutely.
makes it so beautiful. Okay, here we go. We're going to move on to our most popular segment. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm claiming it to be our most popular segment because I like this one. And give credit to Sander for coming up with this one on episode 1. But here we go. Hall of Fame or
Hall
not.
of Fame or not?
Buster Posey. Ba-ba-ba! Okay, I pulled up his stats.
Yeah.
Well, you already didn't do your research. He's
Didn't know
hitting
research.
382 on the season.
Yeah, it's 362 on the season.
362 on the season.
Oh man. Let's put him in.
David, you
I'll
go
start because
first,
I've already done a little bit of
'cause we
my
looked,
reading.
yeah, we
All right,
looked
so he's the last 20 years only other catcher besides Joe Mauer 2003 to win an MVP. He has been an integral part of 3 World Series championship teams, and he's currently hitting 362 on the season. I think that he's one of those guys where if he plays catcher for the rest of his career, 100% he's in. I think if he were to retire tomorrow, he's a 4th or 5th ballot. I say that he is, yes, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Batting title, Gold Glove, 4-time
still
Silver
looking
Slugger.
No, I mean, okay, so if I hadn't just looked at my phone to see what my real thoughts were, my first instinct is to say no. And I still think that, I think. 1,400 hits. He's 34. He's a catcher that I guess they could move, from behind home plate, but is he really going to be a valuable first baseman somewhere? Or play another position, DH, whatever? Probably not. He's probably towards the end of his career. I don't think he can catch too much longer. They've been talking about his knees for years already. 1,400 hits, not doing it for me. Defensively, he's always been pretty solid. I don't know where he ranks right now in terms of
His
overall
WAR
defensive
is solid.
metrics. But yeah, WAR pretty solid. The World Series, good. I don't know. I'm really torn on this one. I really like the guy, and I remember watching him play in college. He was
Florida State.
shortstop. Yeah, he played shortstop at Florida State, and just thinking he was a stud, and then they moved him to catcher. So I don't know. Really good player. Always has been. He will go down. He'll be on some ballots for sure for a while, and I could go either way with this one. So
Question for you as a catcher. I always, and because I've never caught, I always bumped him a little bit because the reason why you can't mow over the catcher anymore is because of his injury and him coming up and saying, hey, that shouldn't be a thing anymore, and so they changed the rule.
Right.
What are y'all's thoughts on Buster Posey and that rule in general? Because he above anything else, if he's remembered for anything else, is that you cannot run over the catcher anymore.
the fact that the rule changed because of him, that's kind of cool. It doesn't make any difference in my Hall of Fame opinion necessarily.
No.
But that rule needed to change probably a long time ago. It's just
Sure. When you get a concussion in the All-Star
while
game.
the videos are cool to watch, that was really stupid that was able to happen.
What was the All-Star game that was it Pete Rose ran over the catcher, gave him a concussion, in the rest of the season?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
either,
like-
but
Yeah, I don't know.
But sorry,
so I'm gonna go no on Posey.
going yes.
Yes.
But I could,
No.
and he couldn't be a first ballot guy.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. This is all opinion based. For me, Buster Posey, if his season or if his career ended right now and he got put on the ballot in 5 years, I would put him in. I think his numbers, just as a catcher, over 300 career batting average, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Gold Glove, batting title. His career hits and career home runs aren't great. He may get to a career 200 home runs. He needs about 50 more, so if he plays maybe 4 more years, he'll probably get there. But yeah, I would put him in. If he ended his career now, I would say yes. But I think if he has another maybe 2-3 good years, possibly a catcher, possibly at first base in terms of his hitting credentials, then yeah, if his career average stays above 300, maybe gets another All-Star appearance. Of course, if he wins another MVP, it's locked and loaded. But I don't know if that's possible at this stage of his career, especially with all the other dudes happening and playing in the National League. But I'm a yes. I don't know what that was. I'm a yes on Buster Posey for sure. And I'm glad they changed the rule for him. Because concussions are a really serious thing.
Yeah. At the time when I was younger, I was like, this is stupid. I want this rule. I love seeing it. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, of course.
It's not very smart.
Yeah, you're allowed to change your mind.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's good.
Another good guy, though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's like,
Seems like an incredible
professional's professional, right? You talk about character, and like if that has a piece of what gets you into the Hall of Fame, Buster Posey, I think exonerates everything that you would ask for.
Yeah.
He hasn't had
Also,
any
same
PED.
team, same team. Whole career.
Yep, same team the whole career, and has had 0 allegations on PEDs. He's done everything right. He's a family guy. He sat out the 2020 season to protect the lives of the health of his 2 newborn sons. Very admirable. I think that missing the 2020 season could potentially hurt him, but I think the reasoning he did it could only help him. And if he plays in the same position, what is he, 31 right now?
34.
34, Jesus, never mind.
He doesn't have a lot of time.
No, he
left as a
doesn't.
catcher.
He doesn't. But if he can play
But he can still swing it.
to the same degree as Yadier Molina, for example, and playing there 3 or 4 years in the same position for the same team,
Yeah.
I think that he's going to end up becoming like a Yadier Molina type, which is Yadier Molina right now is considered a first, if not second round Hall of Famer, ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Because of the folklore that goes around him too, and I think Buster Posey enters that territory.
I would put Buster somewhere in between Yachty and Joe Mauer.
Do that, but I mean they're all Hall of Famers in my mind. So
Yeah.
then if that's the case, then he's a yes.
Well, it looks like we got our next week's guest.
Is that Joe Mauer?
Big Joe.
Big Joe Mauer.
Big Joe Mauer, episode 6, Hall of Fame or not?
Guys, I knew somebody who played in the minor leagues that ended up catching me. Might know him.
Okay. Remember this?
Yeah. We doing another one still?
I'm up 1 on you. Okay. So if
Okay.
you want to do another bet, let me know.
Double down because it's only the 18th of May right now.
You want to double down on your bet? Are you saying 3 is the tops it goes for no hitters?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying 3 or more. I'm saying 3 or more.
I'm always gonna go with the lower on a no hitter.
But this bet's $2 now.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll die with that ship though. I'll go down with that ship.
I'm saying 4 no
I'll
hitters.
die on the hill. Go down on the ship. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
3 no hitters in May.
So we got Buster Posey, me and Bodson, yes. Santa Brian, no.
Wrong.
But sort of.
Yeah,
You're wavering.
I feel bad
Maybe.
about it.
You shouldn't.
I feel like I'm letting Buster down.
Buster's gonna watch this and he's gonna think and he's gonna listen to what you said and he's gonna be like, this is a well-spoken guy, you know.
I hope he makes it. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, we want him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, Buster. Go get him. All right, cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about Albert Pujols quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. So on a
Another Hall of Famer?
previous episode, we don't need to do a Hall of Fame or not for Albert
No,
Pujols.
it's not.
He's the first ballot.
Yeah.
But we talked about him leaving the Angels on a previous episode. Possibly going back to the Cardinals to end his career. That didn't happen. He signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. How do we feel about this?
I feel great for him. He stays in LA. I think, go back to his movement from St. Louis. He struggled immensely moving from St. Louis to LA. He had to bring his family over there. It was a big adjustment. He's one of those guys who needs to be comfortable with where he's at to be successful, which is great for him. And he's there, and his family's there, and his house is there, and he never told the Angels he wanted to play every day. And it's according to him, and nobody lies. So nobody lies. So ultimately, I'm really excited for him to get the opportunity to mentor some of the younger guys in the Dodgers organization and stay close to home and play out the rest of the season with a team that could potentially get him another championship ring before he retires. It's great for him.
Sander?
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, can't say enough about Pujols. I think he's always been one of my favorite players. It's not an Atlanta Brave. Good dude. One of the most fun players to ever watch hit a baseball. Clearly, near the end of his career. But, yeah, like Boston said, probably a good thing he's staying in LA. It would have been cool to see him go back to the Cardinals, but if they don't have a need there,
Right.
it just doesn't make sense. I'm sure he's understanding of that. And maybe next year there could be an opportunity there. I'm sure he'll retire for the season. But
Yeah, I think.
yeah, it's cool to see him in LA. It's a weird seeing him wearing number 55.
Yes.
He looks like a linebacker. But, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I hope he has success with them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't finish the season with the Dodgers. You know what I mean? But I certainly hope he has success.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Albert Pujols. I got a signed picture of him over there in my house, which you obviously can't see on camera because it's behind it.
Yeah.
But it's like very rare that you see someone with a right-handed swing that's like looks pretty. It's usually like a left-handed swing that like looks pretty and smooth, and then you see there's very few guys come around who have a right-handed swing that's like pretty magical. And that was Pujols. A couple guys have it right now. A few of your Braves boys got it.
Yeah.
Mike Trout. But I'm pumped for Albert. I don't really want him to win another World Series because I want the Cardinals to win
Sure.
a World Series. And they also have the best first baseman, third baseman combo in the league.
Probably why he's not on the team.
And also Matt Carpenter is their bat off the bench, so they didn't really need Pujols.
Sure.
But I'm hoping something happens when Pujols decides to retire, that he signs like a deal
Yeah,
One day deal.
with the Cardinals,
Yeah.
and that's the hat that he wears going into the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
But I don't even know if they do that, but I'm just making that statement.
Well,
They do.
that is the hat that he'll wear regardless. I mean, probably because that's where
Did he
most of
tell
his.
you? Last time he...
So fun story.
to clip that part.
Hey, fun fact. Boston's fun fact.
Here we go.
Wade Boggs signed a deal with the Tampa Bay Rays, and in that contract was that he had to go into the Hall of Fame as a Ray. And because of that, the Hall of Fame does not let the player choose anymore. They choose for you.
Oh, really?
I didn't know.
Yes. So that's why I was saying that. But the Boston's fun fact of the week is that the reason why that's a rule is because Wade Boggs signed a contract where they were like, yeah, we'll give you this money, but when you go in the Hall of Fame, it's not going to be as a Yankee or Red Sox. It's going to be as a Tampa Bay Ray for the 2 years you play for us.
That's
Wow.
your funnest fact so far.
That's a good one.
In the Hall of Fame, it's like, no. We're changing that real quick. So yeah, I mean, he'll still go in. I have to believe he'd go in as a Cardinal, but I think that signing a 1 day deal just to like retires as a Cardinal would be really cool.
Really cool. I think he could have a big impact. I don't know on their season total, but definitely on their playoff run.
Yeah,
But they're not playing well right now, so
that's okay.
But it's early in the season.
Yeah, not even halfway.
So it's cool. I'm just cool. Glad to see him back in the National
Giants are
League.
playing really well right now.
Giants are playing really well right now. Cardinals are playing really
You heard
well.
of that Buster Posey guy who's hitting 362 on the season? It's not hurting.
Is he Hall of Fame or not?
He
Hall of Fame or not?
Might be.
Okay, cool. That's good. Good. We have another thing that we want to talk about. Okay, first I'm going to read a tweet from Trevor Bauer, and then we're going to talk about exactly that subject. Here's the tweet. Dear hitters, if you hit a 3-0 homer off me, I will not consider it a crime. Dear people who are still mad about a hitter hitting kindly, get out of the game. Can't believe we're still talking about 3-0 swings. If you don't like it, managers or pitchers, just be better. Period. 119,000 likes so far in like 24 hours, I believe.
Sure.
So people are talking about it.
What are your thoughts now?
Initial thoughts on the tweet and the 3-0 count swinging as a hitter or a pitcher.
Shannon Bryan.
I like Trevor Bauer more and more by the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty spot on. I agree with him 100%. All the unwritten rules of the game, I mean, some of them are fine, whatever. But to say that a guy shouldn't swing 3-0, hit a bomb, like, you've got to take your chances. If you get a good pitch
Sure.
and you got the green light, hit the ball as hard as you can. It makes no sense not to. The video, what was it, the other day, was a position player pitching. I think it's probably what he's talking about. Position player was pitching, somebody hit a tank off him 3-0,
Yeah.
And people were outraged. What do you want him to do? Walk? Or like hope for a walk from a position player?
Sure.
Just get to the next guy, whatever. If he hits a home run, he hits a home run.
Absolutely.
I agree with Bauer. I think he's well spoken and don't really care what anyone else thinks.
I love the idea of swinging 3-0, swing anytime. You're a hitter. That's literally your job. You're getting paid for it. Here's my thing though. The unwritten rules go both ways. So while I have no problem with him swinging 3-0, I fully anticipated yesterday him getting pegged. Now, I don't like the getting thrown at the head. I had no problem with him getting hit in the butt.
Did he get thrown?
Yeah, no, it was right here.
Who?
Right here. Mercedes, who.
Okay.
And, so he hit the 3-0 home run. Cool. Next day, his third at bat, he gets hit in the butt. And tit for tat, hey, just sitting your way. Thanks for doing that. And the game was already over. And that's fine. Like, now it's been resolved. And that's the thing about unwritten baseball, rules of baseball, is they tend to resolve itself. It's when the rules start getting in the way that I have an issue with it. Now, I don't have an issue with Tony La Russa coming out and getting PO'd. I think that he's an old school guy who is upset. Like, hey, we're up a lot against a position guy. You're showboating at that point. Don't do that. And I think his biggest issue, and I think a lot of people's biggest issues with that, if they're worried about the well-being of the team, is that, God, now we're going to get thrown at because you just did that. And that goes the tit for tat or the unwritten rule. But now it's over. And they didn't throw at the head, which I hate. I don't throw at somebody's head. Don't endanger the life of a human being.
Oh,
There's one.
Keep a tally.
So don't endanger the life of somebody else that's doing the same profession as you. But yeah, like, you deserve to get a little sting in the back for doing that, and now it's over.
This is not probably the best comparison, but if you're up 10-0 and a pitcher comes up to bat, do you expect the pitcher to just lay one in there for him? Because striking him out would be showboating, right? No, it goes both ways.
Right.
If you got obviously a position player pitching is rare. The guy was throwing like 50 miles an hour.
Sure.
But what do you want him to do? Like, just only hit a single, or just take one pitch? I don't know. It just makes no sense.
The problem was it wasn't Joe Rizzo, so he wasn't gonna fan him away.
His name's Anthony Rizzo.
Anthony Rizzo. I used to have a sales
Big
rep by
baseball
name.
guy.
I used to have
Big baseball guy.
So a sales rep that recently left my team, his name was Joe Rizzo.
That's a cool name.
So I used to always call Anthony Rizzo Joe Rizzo to him because he's also a Cubs fan.
So let me ask you this question in relation to the 3-0 count, right?
Yeah.
In any other sport, is there a time where you ask your athletes to stop trying?
You don't air it out at 50 points in a football game. You just pound the ground.
Yeah,
So
do you ask the running back to just like fall after he's running?
Sometimes, yeah.
Points?
Like, hey, don't score. It helps run up the clock, helps minimize injuries. It happens all the time. You're up 62-10 with 5 minutes left in the fourth. Try not to score. Like, get 10 yards and fall down. Go 10 yards. In fact, last year,
you don't
they
see
did
running
that,
backs sliding.
and they lost the
They've
game.
got an open hole. They're scoring.
yeah.
Right. You see him sliding. I mean, I can pull it up on YouTube. You see guys
This is a
sliding.
baseball podcast.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, there are other sports, there is that situation. You're not sitting there, in the last, 23 seconds left on the shot clock. 23 seconds left in the game, no shot clock. You're not seeing somebody up 10, shoot a 3 because the game's over. So yeah, like dribble it out.
But that's different. Their sports are on a time clock.
On time on the right.
So they could lose the game in that
You're
time.
not wrong. I'm just going off of what you were looking at. Any other sports, do people stop trying? Yeah, I mean, it happens.
I don't
There's
know
an
the right
etiquette.
answer. I'm just asking you the question.
There's an etiquette that goes into it, but I still don't have a problem with you swinging at a 3-0 count up 10.
So I think the situation in baseball is very different, right? If it's the second inning of a baseball game and the score is 0-0 and the pitcher gets behind 3-0, absolutely it's 100% okay that you swing at a 3-0 fastball and try to hit a tank. That's on the pitcher. He got behind in the count. He's not going to you can't just give him a freebie.
Sure.
It's a totally different situation when you're up 10 runs and a position player is now pitching.
Right.
Sure, you can swing 3-0, fine, but expect some repercussions for your actions. But again, in the first situation that I mentioned, there should be no repercussions for your actions. I should not be hitting you the next time you come to the plate because I lost. It's a one-on-one battle, pitcher versus hitter, and if I get down 3-0 and someone swings and hits a tank, there needs to be no apology. That's not a crime. It's you winning.
Yeah.
You got down 3-0. Okay, the next time the dude comes up, instead of beaming him or thinking that that's the way you need to go,
Sure.
why don't you try and get him out? I know you tried to get him out before, but you didn't. And so that's the situation there. And I think that's what Trevor Bauer is alluding to, that kind of situation. Sure, if you want to swing up 16, 10 runs, it rarely ever happens that a position player comes in. Okay, maybe you don't need to swing at 3-0, but if you do, whatever. Sure, you can do that as well.
Yeah, sure.
And this is all in a major league context. I think now we need to relate it to a youth baseball context.
Yeah, I have position players pitch all the time.
Right. Yeah. All of our players are position players, right? And walks happen more often than not. And these kids are really, really trying.
Sure.
And they get down 3-0, they walk 3 guys.
Yep.
They walk a few guys
I have
in a row.
told Ed.
What's your approach as coaches in terms of those situations with 3-0 counts, talking to your hitters?
If I'm up, so we'll talk about base running. We've talked about this in this podcast before. If I'm up by 10 and it's clearly a mismanagement and it's a mismatch, I'm not running on them anymore. Right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm not going to embarrass the other team. And vice versa. I'm never going to tell a kid not to swing a 3-0 because I'm a big believer of 3-0. Like, that might be the best pitch you see the whole at bat is 3-0. So I'm trying to teach you to do it. And we're at the age right now where it's not hindering you, where you're not going to get hit in the back for doing that at this age. But I'm not trying to take the wheels to you up 10 or up 12 or up 15.
I do get my guys to take sign, depending on the situation. But I don't in many cases when I think that we're much more likely to get a good pitch and manufacture or score a run on a base hit.
Right.
3-0's, could be your best pitch, like you said. So that's when, green light, this could be your best pitch. And if you walk, it's likely that, we're not going to score a run. So we have a better chance getting a base hit on this pitch than walking and trying to manufacture a run from there. So, yeah, it goes both ways. What was I going to say? Lost my train of thought. What's your thought there, Aaron?
Yeah. I think swinging on 3-0 is probably best at that age, right? Because if a guy is walking a lot of people, then if you're ready to go on a 3-0 pitch and he gets a base hit, maybe that gets that pitcher in a groove, or maybe it gets the confidence to the hitter more, right? And so there's a lot of things that happen differently, I think, at the youth level, but I think it more happens at the base running deal, right? You want to stop at a certain point to keep the kid's confidence up and to make sure we're still playing the game the right way. But I have never had an issue with 3-0 hacks. I never did it because I got mad nervous. Mm-hmm. That was the only reason I didn't do it. And most of the time in my college, my coach was like a big small ball guy, which is stupid. But so he was always giving the take sign on 3-0 and made me bunt in certain situations too, which absolutely pisses me off still to this day, 10 years down the line after not playing. But swing it.
Yeah,
swing.
Agreed. I've seen coaches yell at their kids for swinging at a 3-0 without giving the take sign, and then I'll talk to them afterwards. Go, well, I don't know, it was a good pitch. I didn't want to I didn't want to walk. I wanted to drive the run in. I was like, dude, I get it. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the situation calls for it. Swinging 3-0.
Right.
Yeah, but you better be swinging out of your shoes.
Right.
Sure. You better be swinging at a good pitch.
Yes.
It's the same thing as swinging at 0-0, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're going to roll over the shortstop.
Good pitch.
But it's a good pitch. You took a good swing at it, just missed it a little bit.
Yep.
Same thing that happens on 3-0 count.
I think at this age, you're doing the pitcher more of a service by swinging the bat than if he's going 3-0, it's likely that he's struggling with the strike zone or whatever. So it's almost worse to sit there and take. Just swing the bat.
Yeah, you still want to box it up. It's still a hitter's count.
Yep, 100%.
But yeah, cool, excellent, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Trevor Bauer. One day we're gonna get you on the show, and your really, really cool agent Rachel Luba, and we're all gonna sit down and just have a beautiful chat.
That'd be great.
And then your company, Watch Momentum, is gonna sponsor the show, and it's all just gonna go upstream for us guys. Let's go!
There we go.
All right, let's talk about our teams. Even though we just kind of did a little bit, but that's really what the show's about.
I don't want to talk about what we were going to talk about. I don't have it, but let's hear what you have to say.
We're youth baseball coaches, right? So we want to talk about youth baseball.
And all that entails. Which is actually really interesting and exciting, and there's a lot that happens in youth baseball. And so our team did not play this past weekend.
again, today's May 19th, so we're talking about the previous weekend. But Coach Sander Bryan, your team played. How do we do? Got some nuggets of wisdom for us. What's going on?
Yeah, we went 1-1 this weekend. We got rained out on Sunday. We probably should have won both games. First game, it was a team that they're really aggressive. They put the pressure on, and we didn't necessarily handle that pressure. We had just a couple innings, a couple big innings, I guess, get away from us, and that's what we've seemed to struggle with for most of the season. It's just the big inning. The rest of the game could go great. Pitching, go perfect. Defense, go well. Hit the ball, but you just can't give up the big inning. I think that's what hurts the first game. Overall, not a super negative game by any means. Just got hit around an inning or two. And then the second game, we played a team that was definitely beatable, should have beat them, and we did. Not much to say there. I was very pleased with the performance. We actually came from behind. So we're down like the second or third inning by like 4 or 5 runs, and I pulled the guys off the field. And I don't typically talk about the other team in negative ways, but I was like, guys, this is BS. You're getting your ass kicked by a rec team, because they were. I mean, they were AA team at best, and I probably said a little bit more than that to try to fire them up a little bit, and I think they responded really well. We ended up scoring a lot of runs and winning the game by, a few at least. I can't remember what the score was, but yeah, overall positive. I'm sad we didn't get to play on Sunday because I think we had a good shot going into it, but it dumped Sunday morning, so we got banged.
So you have 3 tournaments left, right? 4 tournaments.
I don't know.
You have 3.
I just take it day by day, man.
We have 3 in a World Series each.
Yeah.
How are you feeling energy-wise as a coach?
Some days are better than others. Mondays seem to suck, and that's probably because of baseball, work, a multitude of things, not just baseball. And I also don't rest enough. I get the opportunity to hang out with friends or whatever after baseball. I sometimes am not treating my body like I should. And so Mondays I'll feel it, but by the end of the week I'm fine. Right now I feel like gassed. I'm not burnt out necessarily, but it is a long season. There's a lot going on. I do have a 9 to 5, and we do our lessons and classes and stuff. So I'm always doing something, including this podcast, which we're doing on lunch. Yeah, during lunch hours right now. So I know this is what I signed up for. So you just got to power through. And
That's right.
Again, the nature of the job is you're gonna get back the energy that you put into it out of the guys. I was kind of dragging. I was drinking an energy drink going into the facility last night for practice, and I don't normally drink energy drinks. And I was dragging, and I left that place feeling like, dang man, this is why I'm here. This is why we do what we do.
Amped. Let me ask you. So you hang out with friends on Sundays after games? Because we never see you after games. We
I said hang out with friends.
Yeah, okay.
What are you talking about? I went over to his house for a beautiful barbecue with his friends.
True.
It was really fun.
True.
You were actually invited.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't remember why did that go again?
Sander made some really, really good ribs. I'm not a big rib guy. I don't order those when I go out to eat.
How about when you rib?
But I ate Sanders and they were really good.
It's great.
I also made some really good mac and cheese, which I took home, and I have some Tupperware that I'm giving back to him finally 3 weeks after.
About time.
But I know where you were.
Yeah.
You were at a freaking soccer game.
Yeah.
That's right. FC Dallas. FC Dallas.
Okay, it's a baseball podcast.
Yeah. So Sander does hang out with his friends, including me.
That was opening night, man. Can't miss opening night.
Oh dang, we missed opening night. FC Dallas.
Shoot.
I can't believe you did that.
Did they pull off the dub in the match on the pitch?
It was a tie in the match on the pitch.
Nice.
No.
You should have. I met some of his friends who are big supporters of our podcast.
Yeah, that was after the first episode dropped. Hey, thanks, friends who haven't met yet. I'm looking forward to seeing when it's not interfering with the FC.
They already know you from this pod, so we're good.
Great.
All right. Anyways, back on track. Do you want to touch on anything, Coach Bodson?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to touch on some stuff,
I will just say that being an assistant coach, it has a lot of benefits.
You ain't lying.
Listen. When I didn't even know 6 months ago that I was going to ever be coaching a baseball team in my whole entire life. Sure. If you follow me or know anything about me, I got a lot of stuff going on. And I randomly met with Bodson. He was like, "You want to coach a team?" I said, "Sure, I'll be your assistant coach." And now being in the midst of this season and seeing all the dynamics of youth baseball and all the interesting things that intertwine with these things that are happening, I see so much benefit as being an assistant coach because I get to do exactly what I want to do, which is coach and help the kids and go to the games and be a part of baseball. But then there's an added layer as a head coach that is the parent, coach, player, son dynamic that is very complex and very, very difficult to navigate. As a parent, I understand it's difficult, and as a coach, it's difficult. And then the person in the middle is the player, and they kind of receive both ends of that stick, which could be positive or negative in terms of how we view that said player. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to acknowledge both of you guys as coaches and as people and as human beings that what you're doing with the kids and how you're able to navigate many different kinds of conversations, many different kinds of personalities, people, personnel, parents, is really quite amazing. And I think with only a month left in the season that you should be very proud of the way you've handled those situations. Because I'm very involved in like human relationships and connection, and I think that what you guys have done has been awesome. You know, some stuff obviously we can always do better, but for the most part, those really complex relationships are difficult. Yeah. And not shying away from the hard conversations with the parents about playing time and why this is happening, and being very straightforward and honest with those opinions, and then giving that information to the kid so that they can be their own person and decide what they want to do with that information instead of being like a revolving door with the parents and you. And so I just want to acknowledge that from the start and say that I have a little less to worry about in terms of just coaching the team, being an assistant. So I want to acknowledge you for that and the way you've handled those situations. If you guys want to talk about anything more on a deeper level, you can. If not, that will be the last tidbit of this episode.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I know that you know that I am my 9 to 5. And I mean, I run an entire sales organization on top of running a team, and it's very rewarding because the kids are incredible. You know, like you get to better understand who these kids are as people and
human beings. Chalk it up. That's 4.
And really connect with them on a level that allows you to see where they're coming from and kind of help raise them on a field. Like you're teaching them life lessons that they might be getting somewhere else, things that I didn't learn until I was older. So I like to pay it forward. I will say, and that's something that y'all are aware of, and you're aware of, firsthand, Senator, dealing with parents can be very tough when parents don't support what you're doing. And my advice for any parents out there who are listening to this is trust that the person that you have selected to coach your kid has the best interest of that kid in heart, but also understand that it's not just your kid, it's also 12 to 13 other kids that they have to focus on. So my job isn't just to coach one kid, it's to coach 12 or 13 kids. And so managing that while managing the expectations of every parent at the same time, like you said, Mondays, I generally end up on the phone for 3 hours out of the day on Mondays, just like, getting feedback and trying. I need to manage that better personally. I think I need to manage expectations on that, but it's exhausting and it does create burnout. And I think that if you are a player, understand that the coaches do care about you sincerely, but it's not just you. It's 12 of the people you're playing with as well. Parents understand that that coach cares a lot about your kid, but there's also 12 other kids he has to worry about as well, and nobody's going to make a decision just for one kid. It does have to be for the betterment of everybody. And then coaches, if you're listening, understand that you're not alone if you're feeling that way, because I felt like for the last week, I felt like I just haven't been doing a very good job, which, I hear from my assistant coach that's not accurate. I hear from my fiance who sees it every day that's not accurate, but it's not easy when there's a lot of politics involved and there's a lot of other things coming at you, when really what you want to do is just get on the field and coach the kids, which is what we're here for. But there's a ton that goes into it as well, and it does create burnout, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm exhausted.
Yeah. I feel very fortunate. I think I have like an awesome group of parents, and you don't come by that very often. And they're not just like great. I'm not just grateful for them because they don't come firing at me on Mondays.
Yeah.
Because they don't. But I think I'm more fortunate, more glad to have this group because they are so encouraging to their kids. And that's what I asked them from the beginning was, hey, listen, we don't have to be friends. You don't have to say a word to me. It's not about me. But I'm appreciative, number one, that you trust me with your kid. And number two, I expect you to be encouraging to your kid regardless of playing time, regardless of performance or whatever. Let me do the coaching. And you can be constructive, by all means you can be constructive, but most of all be encouraging. I think they have been, because not every kid gets the same opportunity. They all do get opportunities, they all do play, but performance-wise, you're going to play the guys who are performing, right? Mm-hmm. And so these guys are all fighting for position, even at this age. And part of the game is learning that it's not an equal playing field necessarily. It's not, you're not going to get equal playing time because some kids have earned it with performance. So it all goes back to just baseball and keeping that first in everything. It's just development over playing time. Any conversations that I have had with parents, they've all approached it the right way, but I go back to development over playing time. If we're having a conversation about how can my son develop, then I welcome it. If we're having a conversation about why is my son not playing, we need to have a different conversation. Mm-hmm. So, but again, I've had no issues, knock on wood. It is really tough to manage that, and I'm human and I have a heart, and so when I see a kid on the bench for an entire Sunday, it doesn't feel good. It does break my heart at times, but you got a job to do, and they get opportunities.
Sure.
So.
100%.
That's that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well said, boys. Well said, coaches. I know this is a baseball podcast, but I hope that we can drop a little bit of information from our own experiences that can resonate with you and help you approach life or baseball or your relationships or connecting with people in a little bit better way. So thank you for listening to episode 5. We appreciate you very much. We will have merchandise soon. It's in the works.
That for a month.
I know. My graphic guy's really, really busy. And
Tank tops.
Graphic guy's really busy, and so he's going to get back to me with some mock-ups soon. And when they will be available on jacksonstone.net for purchase. There'll be a red shirt and a navy shirt, kind of like our logo.
Good.
And then depending on how those do, maybe we'll do some shorts and hats and tank tops for the summer.
Need some hats.
So everyone can be rocking Champs Adjust merch. But thanks for your support. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and give us a review, follow, like, share with a friend, and have a great day. Blessed.
Peace.
Later.